So I am doing what we call I want to call a fast food Friday, aka Vyldite Friday. So I take some of my favorite people or some of the most interesting people I know out to their favorite fast food joint, and we have a chat, and that's what this is. And hopefully I'll get enough people interested so I can do this every Friday. So today's guest is none other than John Vlismas. Hello, sir. Open the door.
Hello.
Hi. I'm still fiddling with this camera to try and figure it all out.
Yes, it's quite fucking, it's a fancy camera.
I try, Mr. Vlismas. I try.
How's everything, man?
Good, bro. Long time no see.
Yeah,
Not long time. A week ago. Week or two.
Was it a week? Where was it?
It was a Jim's one-man show.
Oh my god, that's right.
Yeah. It was good.
Well, you got on.
Hey?
You were on.
I just basically did the 5-minute call.
Yeah.
So what this is, by the way, is it's just a conversation with people I'm interested in, and then I'm gonna run it on Friday.
When are they getting here?
They
Okay.
It's me, of course.
Right.
Narcissistic comedian. So that's all it is. And then we're going to talk about anything you want to talk about. If you don't want to talk about it. And also, where's your favorite fast food joint? Where are we going?
Oh, we're going to the Fussy Vegan.
Yes, because John is a vegan.
I am.
Let's take this thing
In
away.
a constant effort to mess with myself.
You're a vegan
I've
now.
given up not only meat long ago, but now everything. Joy, dairy,
shit.
The eggs.
How long have you been? You were a vegetarian until very recently.
For 14 years until about 4 months ago.
Okay, well, how did you become a vegetarian and why?
I was a vegetarian on and off. The first time was because I liked a girl when I was studying, and she was one, so I became one blatantly to try and... That worked, actually.
Get into her pants.
You know?
It worked.
Yeah.
Vegetarian girls.
So that was that, and then I was sort of vegetarian. It carried on after I ended up not being with that girl, and then I gave it up and got into drinking. Quite liked a roast chicken, a few steaks. Enjoyed myself as a carnivore, then so we should probably do a U-turn.
Yes, it's that way.
It's on this very road, and then I just. When I went to rehab, I became vegetarian again.
How long have you been sober now?
Sober. 14 years.
You said that you're a lot more busy on Instagram.
June the 16th. Yes, because I'm launching my new
self. Your podcast or your new self.
Yeah, podcast. There's a few things that I hope will be coming up. More like substance.
Yeah. So
things.
So the big thing is that everyone and people are shocked. But you told me a bit earlier on this year that you were done with stand-up.
Yes.
25 years. And you know why it shocked me when you said it? Because we had a conversation where I opened for you in Bloemfontein where you said, I will never not be in stand-up.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Wow.
What changed?
Things change. I think as you get a bigger view of the world, and what's possible. Also, my dad dying. I think the greatest fear that I had when my dad died was that he had only lived one life.
Okay.
Because I knew him to be a very gifted writer, and he never got to do that. For whatever reason, I mean, he could have. I suppose he could have, but he didn't. By the time he got back to it in his life, he was too tired.
Yeah.
And I never want to be too tired to try something else.
Yeah. Now that's something I struggle with right now as well. Is like I changed from being a marketing guy to being a full-on stand-up comedian.
Yes.
And recently I've been like, I don't know if this is where it ends for me.
Right.
You know, it feels right now I don't feel particularly inspired to write new material.
Oh, but that happens. Like, you'll go through phases. You'll just ride on autopilot, and you'll ride on your natural ability to deliver the same material, and you'll be rotated through audiences. You don't have a massive appetite for new material in this country because we mostly do corporates.
Yeah.
And I had the same thing, but maybe you'll evolve a little bit.
Let's see. Okay. Well, so
the rules are. I don't know if there are rules. Are there guidelines for comedian?
I just know mostly I'm fucking terrified.
Right.
Because I've got a house, I've got a kid, I've got all these things to pay.
Yeah.
And before comedy was fun. Now it's fun, but I feel I need to...
Well, you came into it at the tail end of a boom, so you saw all the good stuff.
Yeah, there was one year where it was like wow.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm doing well. I'm still doing better than what I did in my day job, but it's a lot more stressful now. It doesn't feel like it's like coming to me in waves. I was inundated with like.
Yeah, but I think every industry has it. Like there was a time when people who sold cars weren't salespeople; they were just order takers.
Yeah.
Because everyone needed a car in this fucking country. Everyone has to have a car. It's like this, like mindless, ridiculous march towards credit. And and you know, now it's not quite the same. It's not so easy. If you go to a car showroom, people look a bit thinner, a bit more sort of bleak. They kind of talk to you a bit more and try harder.
Yeah.
I've just been looking at houses, and there's so much for sale.
But you are. So John is infamous. You're infamous for. I'm not gonna speak to them. Speak to you. You're infamous for changing shit rapidly.
Yes.
Like I saw you buy, and I've seen you go. Fuck it. I'm getting rid of everything.
Yes.
And you're in a minimalist space now.
Yes.
Because you're letting go and you're moving to smaller things. I saw you sell your car at a drop of a hat. You said this week, I think I should sell my car. Next week, gone. You're Ubering.
Yes. I don't know what the point of talking about shit is if you're not going to do it. It's and I got into a rut where I did actually for quite a long time. I did that. I spoke about things and didn't do them.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore.
You get in and you get it
well, like
done.
if you have the idea, get on with it. Like I don't want to, and there's this famous thing of like artists getting together in coffee shops and talking about things they might do.
God.
It's just endless. Like, it's just pointless. It's a small industry. It's tiny.
Yeah.
I'm a niche artist. Like, it doesn't matter what anyone, all this like talk about my career. It's a small career in a small fucking place.
Yeah.
And I had a great time. But,
25 fucking years is a long time to be successful.
It's because I'm really good at it. Like, I don't apologize anymore. Like, I spend so much time trying to apologize to younger artists for my success.
Yes.
They were just cunts about it, and I don't know if that word goes on your thing, but
that's fine.
But I'm like disgusted by some of the. In fact, I left quite a rude message on Facebook today for some idiot who kind of wrote this like obsequious like message to me because I said goodbye on the weekend to my career, and like, oh, we'll always remember. I'm like, no, you won't. You're a liar. Like, you cancelled the show once because I was on it. You stupid, insincere prick. Like,
it's a lot of that happening.
Well, you get these like people who talk about shit like haters and gatekeepers. Like, they've basically adopted the rap phraseology. It's just victim psychology.
I've gotten to a place where I used to want to be friends with everyone, and now I couldn't care. I just want to be at home. The only reason I got out is to do the actual gig.
Yeah.
And the material, I don't hang out. There's a handful of.
We're gonna go
that going that way.
Yeah, so.
There's a handful of people I want.
Go that way actually. Now that I think, smart guy.
There's a handful of people that I actually, especially comedians, that I spend my time with, because I find that also there's this weird thing where it's almost like I felt bad for making money out of comedy.
And why would you feel
I don't
bad?
fucking know. Honestly, don't.
Because you work harder, you try. Well, you know this. You know that I got into like some weirdness because of my supporting your shit. And I'm like, well, fuck everyone. I like what you say. I like how hard you work. I like how you refuse to like let anything get you down.
Hey,
and quite honestly, if there's some arsehole who's not prepared to work as hard or isn't as funny, why do we owe that dick anything? Comedy's hard. It's supposed to be. That's why very few people make it, and that's why it plays well.
Also, there's
for economics.
There's a thing that comics think that because they suck up to a certain person that like is like dissident or like anti-Alfred, for example. Just making an example out of myself. That for some reason that person is gonna somehow help them if they agree with him. That doesn't happen. This is a fucking, like you always say, it's a polar bear sport. You are fucking on your own out here. It's completely.
But ultimately.
Yeah.
I mean, when the shit hits the fan, it's you, man.
Absolutely.
And when you walk on stage, like what your friend said doesn't really mean anything. When you're alone in front of 3,000 people or waiting backstage before you play like some tough gig, your friends aren't there. No one gives a shit. And like, when it's good.
Even worse, when you have to pay your medical aid.
Are your friends there?
No one's there.
The people who say, you know
how many people I've borrowed money to, and then I was like, this would never happen. This guy would never be able to help me.
Dude.
Why do I give a fuck about people's opinion?
You really mustn't.
But it's difficult to just cut it off. I won't lie. Okay, so let's go get the fussy vegan. So this is all vegan.
We are going to eat what's called a Beyond Meat burger.
Yes, I had, funny enough,
Did you have
I called you last week, and the day before, I was here.
Did you
during
have
a
one?
burger. Yes, it was amazing. So we're gonna have another one.
They're very good.
Let's
you
do
can also
another.
have a boerewors roll. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Boerewors roll.
Check it out.
Anyway, okay, we're back. So
Right, so
the food,
the
we-
vegan boerewors roll.
vegan burger. It feels like cheating.
In what
Like
way?
if it helps you fucking get through. I mean, you've been eating substitute meats for years, right?
For long.
And tell me, is it really? I hear things about it being not that good for you.
So you should not eat vegan junk food more than 20% of the time. You should eat,
Okay.
if you're going to get the benefit of being a vegan,
Yeah.
you should eat whole food 80% of the time. I would never normally eat anything this big at once.
Ah, he's come with it. He's come to well, me and you have had many a meal together. You know, I don't mind eating something fucking this big. Thing looks like you get yourself in there as well.
I mean, a vegan boerewors roll.
Vegan burrito. So I want to ask all the controversial things.
Right.
You now leaving comedy, and me and you always have these conversations, and I think it's important for people to realize that you are not, because I don't think you do enough of a job to you don't defend yourself at all. You don't really care about that. Remember the time you said that thing on that documentary with Trevor? And I want you to tell, because I asked you about it afterwards, I want you to say in this camera, when they asked you what your response is now, you said, I'll say what you said and you can elaborate. I asked you, what do you think about, and then you said, the guy is obviously one. He's on the Daily Show.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about what I think?
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
thought that was refreshing.
Well, it's because people don't, you know, Bill Gates said the internet wouldn't catch on. You know, yes. It all depends what your reasoning is. Like, I was fucking angry at the time with Trevor's behavior with regards to not pitching up at corporate bookings. So I said something in anger.
Yeah.
He went off and he got the biggest comedy job in the world.
Yeah.
It's not about the fact that that what I say doesn't matter. It's the world's need for revenge through media. Like, we want the story of the guy who said the bad thing to be, hey, like, get fucked. And I get it. Like, I fully understand that's the vibe.
Yeah.
But I think Trevor won. You know, he's the third richest comedian on earth now.
He
I think
is.
he gives a fuck about my comment.
But you guys did work out. You guys worked together afterwards. You guys are very civil. I once got a text from my brother that walked past you guys in Hyde Park having a coffee. Then I was like, you see, the world's perception and reality, there's people are professionals. They move on.
People don't buy the truth, they buy the story. And, you know, I'm just not interested.
On the same time, me and you and Eugene Koza did a show in Maputo. And I remember getting to the airport and being a bit awkward about it because I was like, oh fuck, because the two of you have been going at it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I was like, because me and Eugene are friends. He's a nice guy. I mean, we never had any business dealings besides the fact that we're comedians. But I was like, oh fuck, me and John are really close. This is gonna be awkward all weekend long.
No.
And when we got there, you guys were like old friends. I was like, you guys had a great time together. Then I was like, there's the public perception, and then also things do really happen. It's like you fight, but you're adults, you move on.
I never had a conflict with Eugene. He's just a very unstable dude. Very talented. He got upset with some stuff. He said some really weird things online, and then one day he got to a show and he was headlining and I went on before him, and then he basically went on stage and told the audience that my material had upset him so badly that he was incapable of performing.
Yeah. But I mean, even after that, you guys were friendly. Eugene's also extremely fucking charming. He's a charming, nice guy.
A really funny guy.
Yeah. And there are rumors that have gone around, because now, I mean, you at the end of your comedy career, I'm going to ask all these questions. People told me there's two things I want you to tell me if it's bullshit or not. First off, you drove a car into the foyer of an hotel when you were fuck high. When you were high as hell. Was that true?
Not right into the foyer. I couldn't get in because there were stairs. I went over the pavement.
Oh, so you didn't actually go into them?
No.
It's a story. These things get legs.
Yeah, of course.
And, yeah.
Well, I mean, I tried, but there were stairs.
And secondly, you had a heart attack. People said you partied so hard you had a heart attack.
I got a virus you can get.
Oh, what?
It's like flu.
Oh.
Instead of getting a runny nose, you get fluid around your heart, basically. I actually hadn't been partying. For one of the few times in my life, I spent 3 days in bed. I couldn't get out of bed. And thank God I did, because it's not technically a heart attack, it's called perimyocarditis.
Yeah.
It's an inflammation of the heart lining.
Yeah.
Fluid gathers around your heart, and because it kind of fills that space that your heart beats in, your heart can't beat properly. So my body released all the enzymes that you would normally release when you have a heart attack.
Okay.
But I didn't have an actual heart attack. In fact, today I'm not a cardiac patient at all.
Okay.
But I've heard that one.
You don't know. My thing is that you went from this extreme. You were at the tail end of the Mel Miller age, right? You were the open spot at that time. And there wasn't a lot of comedians at the time. And then you were one of the guys that survived the new age, basically, because all of a sudden audiences were now exposed to a more diverse set of comedians. Kaggy and them came in, David Carr and them came in, and you survived. You survived that period. So not a lot of guys survived that period, and it does feel like there are a lot of guys that are very angry about it. Well, being left behind.
Yeah, well, there's an element of luck. There's an element of...
You're also young. You were young. You were more in tune with what was happening.
I started at 21. You know, people also forget like the level at which they came into comedy. When I came in, there was fuck all. There was nothing. I had to drive around and find bars with band setups so I could arrange a gig. You know, these fuckers who moan came in when there was kind of a structure in place. There was sort of management companies, and it was fuck all when I started. There were like 6 comedians who owned all the work.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, say, oh, you're gatekeeper. Yeah, fuck, I kicked this gate through a wall myself. So yeah, I looked after it and made it into a business, but I've left that behind because quite frankly, I'm not interested in... My best friend's a manager of some talent, and someone said to him, you know, you moan, but you actually enable these people to be assholes. And I was like, wow, that's a fucking good way of putting good management. You basically allow artists to be bigger dicks by cleaning up their shit. Like, pay your own tax, you fuckhead. Pay your own, sort your own hotel bill, get your own transport. Like, why are you such a useless human? So, you know, I built a lot of my own mess.
Yeah. What are you gonna do now? What is after comedy? Because clearly, I mean, you've made a good living. Even in an economy where it's difficult, people are still booking John Vlismas. They're still looking for you. So, and I mean, you'd made a good life out of it. Where do you go now? Just like out of nowhere, bang, floodgates stop. Oh well, that's our perception, but the reality is you obviously have other things happening.
I mean, I've stopped comedy. I've stopped. I'm not involved in the management company anymore. I still have a production company. We do quite a few nice events. I've started studying at Henley.
Yeah.
I've started teaching at Henley at the same time.
You travel with him quite a bit as well?
Yeah. Go around the world a little bit and talk to people in different places.
So you have a talk, or do you like a guest lecturer? What do you do?
So,
Man, this fucking thing is good.
hey,
People are gonna see on this thing that Alfred, the comments will probably say this bra's going for it. It's really good.
I very seldom eat this kind of thing. When I do, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, like I still eat meat. So I know what meat tastes like. You haven't eaten meat in ages. That tastes like meat. It looks like meat as well.
A good old-fashioned fucking buri roll. Which, morals aside, is like an iconic
meal. Apparently the Springboks, they shipped a lot of boerewors rolls over for the finals. Is that true? No, or some in Japan they made them boerewors rolls. From one thing to the next, we have to come back to this. What do you think about the effects winning the World Cup has on a country, on South Africa right now? Do you think it'll have any bearing effect on the economy and how people feel?
It is good. It does unite people. People will use it as a platform for their own shit. And we saw that with the EFF. But the bottom line is that sentiment changes things. That's an economic truth. So it's got to be good. Low morale. The engines of the country, the people who kind of make the money, need to know that we can win something. Not everything is totally fucked.
Yeah.
I'm not a big rugby fan, but it's good that we won.
Same here. I knocked that thing back like the cure for something was in there. So yes, you said you had Henley's and you guessed lecture.
Yeah. I'm doing some business talks, but
And you're doing your MBA, right?
I'm hoping to go further.
PhD?
Probably a DBA,
Okay.
Doctor of Business, but I work with an amazing woman, good friend called Puling Makwadibe. She is a doctor.
Yeah.
She's been very kind in letting me into her classrooms and messing with the curriculum and designing my own bits and bobs.
I met Pule. You're good. You're solid. Just come to those talks.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, me and John used to have a business consulting. We never made any real money though. And I
Only
always
we got a client who paid us.
Yeah. I always felt that we were way too they say yes, but they were way too progressive for our thinking. We were way too progressive for their thinking. And unfortunately, for the most part, I don't know how it is globally, but in South Africa, people still want, they say no, we're moving on and all these things. They really want the same old. Someone's calling and I'm not answering. There's literally a dog on the...
Well, that's part of my problem, is that we live in a place where people talk about disruption, progress, and the moment you start doing it for them, they panic.
Yeah.
They want disruption in a way they can palate.
Yeah.
Well, that's not disruptive.
Yeah.
Disruption means
They
you
want to
are-
be comfortable.
Yeah. I'm eating my own body weight here in fucking buri roll.
Yeah, I know. It's a big thing, man. So that's so now you've decided you're doing that, and you have Ogo, which is your production company. Are you doing? But that's mostly corporate work, eh? That's mostly like
Only corporate work.
only corporate work. So you go and you set up things and you strategize.
I don't
with
like the theatre ticket. I like the invoice.
it. Yeah. Theatre ticket in South Africa is a
The theatre
painful.
ticket is a very fucking fickle friend.
Yeah. Explain to these people how difficult it is. Because I've done shows now. And I promise you, financing your own show is difficult. You're deep in the hole before you see any money. If you're going to see any money, most cases you lose money. I see a lot of artists, not just comics, digging holes for themselves,
Musicians.
hoping that they're going to
Actors.
sell tickets. In an economy that is just, and also a culture where it's just not, we're not theatre going people, eh? In Australia, like, you want to see theatre going people, we did a gig in Australia and people would come to the show twice.
Yeah.
$35 a pop, sold out. I was like, what? These people don't know who I am or you are, really? I mean,
That venue's got a 65% repeat rate on ticket buys
that's crazy.
in one night.
Now you're in South Africa, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Think about it, how many times you probably go to the theatre quite a bit? How many times do you go a year? You know what I mean?
Maybe 4.
Maybe 4 times. That's not a theatre going person. Not by the first world standard. Yeah.
We have this barnyard bullshit. It's not
That's
theatre,
terrible.
it's another band with a new hat.
Absolutely. And those guys don't look like the
How many
barnyard.
fucking 80s, 70s, 60s theme shows can you fucking possibly watch?
Mamma mia.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I go like, these poor people, like I have friends that work there, I go like, your soul's dead, eh? You're out there just spinning again. I feel so sorry for them. So sad. I feel like I asked so many questions in a short period of time. I want to talk to you about more things, but I can't fucking think of anything. You know the thing? Maybe it's good that this is going to be short.
My thing is,
Could always come back and have the
apart from eating
cheeseburger.
my fucking own leg-sized food,
And the kombucha.
I'm not going to miss that hustle.
We're not going to miss it, huh? Not going to miss the comedy?
That corporate client saying,
Please don't say.
"Hi, Butch,
Yeah.
I saw you at the club, eh? Please don't do any of that stuff here. Can you make jokes about my dog? Jesus, my dog's hilarious, eh? Oaks come for a bra. Jesus, my dog's fucking hilarious."
What's the worst request? What's the worst request you've had? You're a corporate.
Probably like in the middle of my set, if I could do a lucky draw.
That's normal.
Is it?
Yes. Oh man, I've done more than that. I just always think about, like I've had corporates where I have a fantastic time, really have fun. But then there are moments where it's just people don't understand what works and what doesn't work. And then they request things that they think is going to work. And they don't leave it up to the professional they paid for
Yeah, no.
to do the work.
Um,
And then it fucks out. And then they go, Alfred was terrible.
Exactly. Don't book him again.
Yeah.
No, like I'm sweating like a fucking.
farm
I mean, I
animal.
really did
He's fat.
eat a lot there. I'm not going to eat for 4 months. I'm going to go into a cave now.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping.
You
until-
lost a lot. Listen, you were thin, oak, but you lost body weight now. This vegan thing has made you go even more like.
Yeah, I have lost some body weight.
Gaunt.
I've kind of felt it, and I feel good though. Have to say. But on the comedy thing,
Yeah.
there's a couple of things maybe if people are watching they should know. Number one is, we don't want to use your fucking joke. You can use this one. No, we can't.
We
Like,
can't.
there's this fundamental error that you make that we want to use your joke. That we don't. We know the jokes. That's our job. We don't come to fucking accountants and go, here's a formula you can put in your Excel sheets. No, you've got the formulas. You work it out. The other one is, yes, have you met my mate Brian? Fuck, he's hilarious. He's not. I haven't
No.
met him, but I can tell you he's not. Because you base it on the fact that he's been at the Bri.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Okay,
dry funny.
Bri funny is not stage funny. And that's like saying just because you're pretty good in bed, you'd be a great sex worker. No.
Nope.
There's another skill set altogether that goes into being a sex worker that you will never see. Strippers don't go home to an actual pole. It doesn't happen. They just want to go home and put something on.
Yeah.
You know,
Flip flops and
fucking just be normal. And then you come along and like we're walking with our families in a shopping centre on a Sunday. Hey, but tell me a joke, eh? Go fuck yourself. Seriously. Like I really, go fuck your hand. I can't tell you how rude that is. And the base assumption is because you see us as a clown, we are not worthy of like normal human respect. You wouldn't go to your lawyer and say, hey, Put, just sort this out for me, like at Santon on a Sunday while he's getting his Woolworths shit. I've been having a pee before. And a dude's like, can I get a selfie? I'm like, can I just finish?
while you're holding the
I
rod.
gotta go, bro. I'm like, I'm going. So it's not everyone.
Yeah,
Don't
but
get
it
me wrong.
happens. These are these things that happen.
But you get these people who just like, so those are just some
Human
things which I won't
things.
miss, you know. I love people. I love performing. I love making people laugh. It's it's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But fuck it, there's some elements that I just.
But you can't deny, listen, and this is going to be an arsehole thing to say, but there's a lot of inside of me that goes, I don't 100% believe that you lead it.
Yeah, most people have said that.
I don't believe it. I feel like, and also because you're also very open to changing your way. So I think that there's going to be a great one-man show in 4 years.
Oh, listen, I mean, Apex. I did Apex, and Apex is like a different kind of thing. It's a lecture.
Yeah.
That's kind of humorously delivered, and I don't doubt that show will be done again. That's not like that's a different kettle of fish. But then it's on my kind of terms. I'm not here to amuse you. I may well make you laugh. I said just now it's my favorite thing to make people laugh. That's not actually true. It's my favorite thing to make people think and laugh. You know, that's my favorite thing. So making them think by using the facts, and then making them laugh so that they remember the facts. Ultimately, that's what I want to do. So I may do those. And I was talking to my daughter yesterday. Like, I've seen a time in my head where I might fill a really big venue with a lecture. That would be exciting, because it means that there are people in the world who want to learn and not just laugh at like coloured accents. Like, it's become my bugbear. I can't believe that we've become a nation where just announcing a stereotype of your race on stage is a big joke.
Yeah.
Like, you've never done that, which I really love. Like, I love the fact that you're not.
I think I did that in the beginning, and
did you? I can't remember.
I think that in the, like, you know, open spotting, I might have fallen into some level of doing a lot of stereotypically heavy, coloured kind of things.
Yeah.
But quickly it made me feel a little dirty. So now people still think, I've got friends comedians that still think that I do stereotypically kind of things. What they don't realize is this is just my accent. That's not gonna fucking change. This is just really who I am.
Why is your accent so stereotypical?
But I hate,
Alfred?
And I no offense to those people that do this stuff, but I used to hate the owie and I don't like it. I haven't.
And I'm just using it as a marker because it's immediately obvious. It's not just that. Like, there are so
there's so many things. Yeah.
My blackness is a joke. My whiteness is a joke. Like I mean, there's some room for like really good reflective kind of satire, but it's such a thin band. And like the artists who walk on stage and say to South Africans, it's okay to laugh at coloured people with no teeth. It's fucking not. That's not how most coloured people that I experience are. Yeah. I have not seen a toothless coloured person for at least like 8 months. You know,
with no teeth.
I don't hear Indian people saying anal. I don't hear that when I speak to the Indian people I know at all. You know, blackness being this like it's just this ridiculous, stupid circle that we go in. And I'm like, oh fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore.
I also I find, and I'm gonna say it here, because I don't say it, I just rather disappear when people come off stage.
It's quite a good idea.
I find it very difficult to stomach a lot of comedy. And it's not just locally, it's internationally. Yeah. There's really like that 1%, I don't know who came up with that thing that said 1% of the comedians in a country is funny. And I promise you, I think it's true.
No, but this is my thing. It's like, it is a very hard thing to do well.
I struggle watching stuff, man. I struggle watching all these Netflix specials. I think that they're flooding the market with a lot of average. There's some great stuff, but there's a lot of average comedy out there.
Yeah, it fills the time, and it smiles, and it faces the right way, and the really like difficult, challenging, for me anyway. Yeah. Not everybody wants to go and be challenged and provoked, and I get that. Like, not everybody wants to some people just want to go and enjoy themselves, and I get that. Like, I fully get it.
Yeah.
But the problem is we get lulled into this like fucking stupidity where you will leave the comedy show, and because of the shit that's been planted in your head, you'll get into a fucking road rage argument, or you'll go to a braai and then you'll reinforce racism. Like, you're not helping the fucking situation.
No. What is I remember in the early days when I opened for you for your first, what was it, Revelation? Was it Revelations?
Yeah.
It was Revelations. And you made a lot of very, very heavy religious, like a lot of those, the material was directed at all religions, but it was hard. It was hard for people to swallow.
Yeah.
And I remember going backstage and I said to you, now people have left, and you said, is it more than 20? I don't know if you remember this. Then I said, I think like 20. It's like, fuck man, because if it's less than 20, I didn't do the job right. So like, you'd wait for 20 people to leave. I was in Australia, we were sitting, and I remember these people were very happy to come to your show. And I was sitting watching, and there were South Africans that said, it started off where the first couple of things you said was hard, but it wasn't. I know what's coming. So the guy goes, I told you. And at the end, he got up and said, no, guys, let's go. It's like 3 or 4 of them. Like, you could see, like, those people went, like, from, like, so there was, like, a huge a group of audience members that absolutely went with it, right? But there was, like, at the back, like, middle, like, I would say, like, 20% of them were gobsmacked. Because I think that they just came based on the poster.
Yeah.
Fuck, there was
those, when you get the homesick
and those
ones,
South Africans that brought people.
Yes.
Where they had to leave and go, I'm so sorry.
Sorry I
I'm
brought
so
you.
sorry.
Yeah. But particularly Australia, because a lot of the people who come to Australia shows that are South African are just homesick and they want to hear how fucked things are in South Africa and how negative we are about it.
So tell us more about the crime.
So they feel better about having left, and I refuse. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like I always say, bullshit. Like, yeah, Nelson Mandela came back alive. We've all found gold in our gardens, and like we've cured AIDS. Like I just make it up, and because I hate that like fucking like remote pessimism.
Absolutely. You know, they ask you that question, like, so how is it crime-wise? You know, here you can walk at night, eh?
Yeah.
In fact, we had lunch with people, many people there that was like that. It was that feeling. But listen, I also, just to put it out there, I also scared a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I scared the shit out of those people.
But you did, because you
by saying you was beat your children.
Yes, and on the spectrum, and like beating up the cripple kid. Like I watched that moment where you made the decision. It was fucking amazing. Like, I love learning from other comics.
Let's go.
I learned from that moment where I watched you look at the crowd and go, fuck this. Like where most people would pull back and you would have had to make this apology and like start again. It would have been horrible.
Can't apologize.
Doubled down.
I was into deep, bro. I couldn't come back.
You doubled down, you committed yourself, and you fucking forced them to explode in laugh. That was amazing. That was a big thing for me. And Robbie Collins saying, hey man, I only write 3 minutes when I'm doing 5. That was a brilliant piece of
Robbie
advice.
was amazing on that tour. He really was.
Yeah.
But my thing was, I walked the next year when I went back and you guys weren't there, because you know it's 2-year cycle, so I probably won't go this year. But anyway, so
I won't go either. So
no, you're definitely not all going. So I went out there and I walked in with the same energy like I stepped off the stage from the previous time. And because I walked in so confidently speaking such crazy things, they liked it, man. They really enjoyed it. You know when you feel the audience is now on your side from the back?
Yes.
It was because I was pussyfooting around them.
In the beginning.
Yeah, there's no space for that.
If you're sure of what you're doing, you got to let them know that you know what you're doing. It's important.
Also I must say that you never see, 2 things you did that. 1, you never got scared of this woke new thing, and number 2, you, like on the first point, there was a religious rabbi friend of yours that came to the thing who loved you, but I don't think he loved you when he left.
No, so he still loves me, but he's
like,
he's cautious. So funny. I went to his office the other day for a talk. He brought all these youngsters in, like, come John, tell us what you're teaching at the business school. All these young, sort of really kind of, what are they called, orthodox young Jewish boys. And so I explained how I use the methodology of the Church of Satan in one of my dissonance classes, and he was so unhappy. But to his credit, right, I put him out of his comfort zone, and he fucking doesn't give up on me. And you know, when
I was behind him. I remember going to the show, sitting behind him and going, this is not going to end well.
And yet he comes back and we're still friends, and it means a lot to me when a dude like with that beard and that hat comes to my show and he's telling other people that it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
You know, we need more religious people like that guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Fuck, what was the second thing I lost my train of thought immediately. First, you didn't care, and secondly, fuck, I can't remember. But in any case,
look, it was a big first point.
It was a big one.
It was a beast.
We did well there. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me. Fuck, thanks for a fantastic vegan burrito.
Vegan.
Do you know what that's made of?
Probably soy or lentils.
No, it's a protein from the east. You're gonna laugh, but it's a kind of a fungal protein, and it's called seitan.
Seitan.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is my new thing. I want to get t-shirts. It's SEITAN, and I want to get some shirts. Hail Seitan.
How many death threats have you had?
3.
3 death threats. What do you think about? One was from Steve Hofmeyr, who coincidentally got caught watching after boycotting DSTV, got caught watching the World Cup.
He did.
Yes, with a picture of him watching the World Cup rugby on DSTV.
What a fucker.
You guys used to be friendly. How did that thing escalate into? Fuck.
No, I just worked with him. I worked on his. I was interviewed on his show once or twice.
Here we go. So just go from
So Steve and I, we had a professional kind of relationship, and I liked how professional he was. He was very hardworking, punctual, professional. You know, whatever. His shows had the best gear. And we spoke a lot, and I would assume that he read because he was always talking about references. This is before I truly understood the depth of propaganda, and then he started making sweeping statements like, you know, you don't see white families climbing over fences to kill black families. I'm like, okay, but Steve, that's fucking fundamentally not true. That is the basis of the 80s and the 70s. Actually, that is exactly, this wasn't families, it was just, you know, uniformed fucking mandated officers. And then he said that black people were the architects of apartheid. I mean, how fucking, like, get fucked, dude. Whatever you say after that, nobody gives a fuck. So like, you're an idiot. And so,
then it just kept on going.
Yeah, and then he kept saying shit and like provoking people. He started this like Red October fucking stupid thing, and you know, then Afri Forum, he got involved with them, and then there's a thing called I think it's called AfriCheck, and they actually check stats, and you know, he gave all these statistics on his website, and they're all bullshit.
Yeah.
So I wrote a long letter on a platform that I had. I was part of the Mail and Guardian thought leaders for quite a long time. So I wrote this open letter. It's just got an enormous amount of readers. And then he published a picture of me on his website where I had my hand up, but he'd written on my hand, "I hate Afrikaners."
Wow.
And so immediately I knew that was a constitutional win. Like I would it's a crime. Because basically he's now faked my picture to incite hatred against me. So I just sent him a lawyer's letter and immediately was taken down.
I just want to say, Steve, ek sal die hele ding in Afrikaans doen as jy op hierdie show kom, dan kan jy sê net wat jy wil. Just open it up for Steve.
You really can, Steve. You know why?
Come, Steve, I'd love the traffic.
Unlike you, man, I say everyone has a right to a voice. So even you, in your failing, fuzzy logic, fucked up, failed pop musician, dropping sales, banned from any kind of important public platform, bust watching DSTV after your principled stand, you have like no credibility. But Alfred is a Democrat, and he's gonna give you a voice. So fucking
come on the
chance,
show,
bro.
I can
it's
pick
the
you
only
up
place
in Pretoria
where you'll get a chance to talk.
Dude, the crazy thing about Steve Hofmeyr is that we grew up idolizing him. Even in my community, because he was Bruce Byers in Agter Elke Man, and TV played a huge role in our lives.
Yeah, so you didn't grow up idolizing Steve Hofmeyr, you grew up idolizing TV stars, and that's okay. Because
and then you realize, oh man, I met a lot of TV stars, and most of them have been nice people, thankfully.
Most performers are in this country because you can't be big enough to be self-important.
Yeah, but they are the rare occasion where you go.
I'll tell you, man. Like I used to make jokes about Patricia Lewis when I was younger because that was the kind of thing. And I worked with Patricia a few times, and I have to tell you, man, fucking so professional, caring, awake, smart, ambitious, clever, lovely husband, just really nice people. And she never ever reacted to anything I ever said with anything other than sheer grace, and it fucks you up. It makes you feel so bad.
And she feels like she looks like one of those mothering types as well. From a distance, she looks like she takes you under the wing kind of vibe. She's like a warm person.
She's like a very alpha female, highly motivated.
From a distance, it looks like she's very cutesy.
No, but very caring. So she'd be the mom who's ultra organized. She has a plan. She has like a schedule. Everything's done. She's done well in business and outside of what she was doing originally. So you know, you make assumptions. All of us do these things where we like walk around. So for example, the first time that gig we do in Pretoria, I used to not be able to do well in front of Afrikaans audiences for like a month or so, until I realized, but I grew up with all these people. Why am I so weirded out? Problem?
And in fact, I find, especially maybe it's just the pockets of people that I'm exposed to, especially young Afrikaans people in Pretoria, are the best crowds. Like the nicest.
Dude, progressive Afrikaans kids are like amongst the most amazing humans
you
in
can
this
find.
country.
Yeah. I love doing those Capital Craft, those Pretoria gigs, because I also enjoyed that there was a comedian that said something racist one day and half the audience got up immediately and left. I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
Just because we're Afrikaans doesn't mean you can say what you want.
I've always said, like, when you get an Afrikaans kid who rebels, you've got yourself an artist. It's like Japanese kids, you know, that whole movement, Harajuku.
Yeah.
They come from severely conservative environments. When they do blossom, fuck man, it's beautiful. And I agree. That's why, like, Steve always made a thing that I hate Afrikaans culture. I'm like, no, bro, I hate you. Your shit that you produce. Pampun is not a fucking great song. It's rubbish. Rijpaard, like, it's rubbish. Battery 9, you know, like
Fok of Polisie
car, nude girls, like there's so much great writing and design.
They
and
are
like,
amazing. Koos kom base, still good.
I knew Koos, sorry, not Koos, Johannes Kerkorrel. I
you
knew
knew
Ralph, yeah, and just incredible souls, you know, brilliant, poetic.
The Afrikaans
genius.
guy, I don't know. I'm not very clued up on the art. You are very clued up on art. You had that very famous South African Afrikaans painter that you collect. That passed your friend.
He's not Afrikaans. He was
He's
just,
not Afrikaans. He's English
actually
guy.
from England originally. Yeah.
Okay.
That grew up here. Another great Afrikaans artist, Himmel Besem.
Yes.
Yes.
Colored guy.
Jesus, that guy. Gifted.
Good. Funny enough. So I see a lot of these like in Afrikaans right now. I enjoy these songs, but I always I get worried when a guy is making all his money off a gimmick.
Yes.
So like these tracks now, Biggie is probably a great rapper, but this song that he's got out is making him huge amounts of money, and I worry about those things. It's the same thing I worry about in my comedy. So many people have told me, Alfred, you need to take on the Afrikaans market because you're Afrikaans and you'll appeal there and da da da. Then I go, I'm not against that. I want to I do Afrikaans shows. I do my stand-up in Afrikaans, but I don't want to hang my hat and coat on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to become an Afrikaans act for Afrikaans people that can come and enjoy me in any if they want to come in English anyway. But I don't want to pigeonhole myself and then make fortunes for 3-4 years. And then after that can't, because there's a new kid that's done the same thing.
Yeah.
Although I know, I mean, I look at some of these guys, they've made some good money maybe.
Hey, listen, man. If you score the Afrikaans market and they adopt you, you can't be more loved.
You know, you said that thing this morning about on Instagram about being insecure, and I was like, you couldn't speak. I'm the most insecure human being.
Yeah, it drives us.
Earth.
It's a driver.
And I'm scared all the time. I try and run. I fight that fear. I push it back. But I'm insecure. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I? And it's weird that it's, even with all that insecurity, it's pushed me out of a very secure job into doing these fucking crazy things.
But that's exact proof that self-doubt can propel you to acts of great courage. That's this is the paradox that I don't understand why we teach fucking children. Like, don't doubt yourself. Like, that's an old mechanical motivation where you feed people into a grinder and only the meanest survive.
Yeah.
We've evolved beyond that. We have different attributes now. It's not only about sheer fucking resilience. It's about emotional, if we had been the same humans that we were 300 years ago, Stephen Hawking would never have fucking invented his theories. He would have been ground into the fucking mud when he was born or as soon as he got sick. I think your insecurity and because you can't be brave until you're afraid.
Yeah.
So that self-doubt gives you the opportunity to be courageous. Being self-confident means that you are never really brave.
With no fear, you're just being silly.
You're just deluded.
Yeah.
And those are the fuckheads who take a company over the cliff.
Yep. Absolutely. The guys that say no, put off the electricity at Enron.
You know what I mean? Or they take too much.
Yeah.
They take too much resources out of a finite system, and then when it's fucked, they're like, they just walk away.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal.
So you talk about all these things in your business talk?
I do.
Yeah.
I talk about crazy shit. Like I've managed to relate Newton's third law to strategy, because Newton's third law says that for every reaction there is an opposite and equal reaction.
Yeah.
So when you're strategizing to make a gain, what that gain means is that you will remove something from an existing system. So what is the Newtonian action? And have you factored in what the reaction might be? So for example, the EFF get their land issue like pulled out from under them in the election. So they ramp up the racial rhetoric. And the Newtonian gain is the Freedom Front Plus gaining voters.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Crazy. Sorry.
Now, did they factor in the equal and opposite reaction? You'll create more right-wing voters by ramping up your racial rhetoric. And in their case, it's probably a good idea because that feeds their story.
Yeah. So tell me, have you struggled to bridge the gap to when you walk in and you do these business talks? Are they still expecting John Vlismas?
Yes.
Because they don't know that you've studied.
Yes.
So people don't know you're a degreed man and you were studying your MBA and there's more to, and you've been owner of multiple businesses, and I find that the speaker circuit in South Africa is very thin and poor.
So pathetic.
It's pathetic.
So fucking
So
thin.
all these people that are getting paid to come and talk, most of them have never had businesses, has never been out there doing their business is talking.
Exactly.
And
Their
selling
business
these
is billing
books
their
that
hours.
they also, this is a thing that
Which is a flawed business, by the way.
absolutely. And also I've just realized recently that someone spoke to him about a book and writing a book, and they said you could pay to write your own book and distribute it, or we will take all the proceeds and we'll distribute it for you and we'll give you a small percentage. And so because recently I've seen business books out there by guys I know from varsity days,
Never run a business.
where I go, this oak is literally the worst person to ask
About a business.
Yes, terrible. Looks good in a suit. We believe that fucking thing so easily. I see audiences just swallowing that old green juice when the guy walks on and he looks like he knows it and he has a couple of buzzwords. And you know what's the worst part? Most of those people are intelligent that's sitting in that audience think in their back of their heads, oh, this is a fucktard. This guy's an idiot.
This is rubbish, yes.
Yeah, but they don't say anything. They just keep...
No.
Then the next place just books him again.
I mean, if all you're building is a way to sell your own hours, ultimately you are doomed.
Yeah, that's what we're doing in comedy, really, aren't we? Fundamentally, we're trying to sell our own hours, and hours, there's only so many hours in a day, and you can probably increase the price for those hours, but
Well, there's a ceiling, you know, and then other macro factors come into play that are beyond your control. You can maybe charge 30, 40 grand for a corporate, but you can't sell a theatre ticket, or more than 40 of them.
I see that all the time. I see comedians that can't sell theatres at all, but make huge amounts of money out of corporates. I see it all the time. And the reality of this is that how long do you think that is going to last? So I think that most comedians that like yourself, and there's a few others, I would say Mark has done this, like you have to start moving, constantly working at it. And secondly, you need to start moving all that money that you're making into a capital resource that will make you money, so that you don't rely on the money you're making from these hours.
Yeah, because
otherwise it's coming to an
The
end.
desperation makes you a dick.
Absolutely, and I felt it. I felt it myself. I felt it myself. As soon as I started having a lot more responsibilities, the comedy doesn't feel so good anymore, and it doesn't come across that good anymore. I can still sell it in,
Sure,
like
you can
a
switch
beast,
it on. Yeah,
and
you
there's
can switch
days
it
I
on.
can be great, but I have to manage my finances very well, so then I'm a great comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm fucking scared at night.
You've got to build a jungle gym solid so you can play.
Anyway. Okay, so I think we're going to call it. Thank you for
Super.
coming again, John.
Thanks for having me, man. What a fucking
We'll have
cool
coffee next
afternoon.
week.
Nice.
Okay. Can I get you another kombucha, switch this thing off, and then we
Jesus,
go home?
I'm so good. I'm not going to have another thing for 8 months.
Getting him another kombucha.